I'm Frans Van Diepen. I'm the editor of Agricultural and Aquacultural Facilities. And our theme is dealing with the primary agricultural and aquacultural production. That means it has to deal with crop farming, with horticulture, with tree and nursery and cut flower business, and the fishery aquaculture, which is animals or water organisms held in a consignment. What is out of the scope is primary production like hunting and fishing in free waters. So trawlers on the ocean are not in our scheme. Also the processing of primary products, by example making cheese or butter on a farm, is part of production facilities, and it's not considered in the theme of agriculture and aquaculture facilities. What we did since version 2 and well, from start on until now, the work was done by our listed members. Norman Rauter and Carolina Escobar has quitted the scene for various reasons, and later on Janos Besnat, our facilitator, he joined our team, so we are a very small continuous group. What we did, we worked on quite some commands on the data specifications version 2. As explained already, we set up the extended and the core model, and we worked on the activity complex model, the covering model for all the facility groups. And that we did by having quite some meetings with production facilities and utility services, with buildings, and a lot of conference calls and many emails. I will give an introduction of what the data specifications are used for, so I want to focus on a few use cases. As I'm from Holland, I took information of my country, and last year we had a big problem in agriculture and in human health about the Q fever. Q fever is a quarry fever, can say quite unknown one aspect, and it's dealing with bovine animals, cows, sheep and goat. And in the Netherlands we had a huge outbreak of Q fever in goats. Q fever is causing abortion, pre-abortion on the animals, and is highly infectious for the same species, but also for humans. And human people got infected, and at least 25 people are known to die on the Q fever issue, so the impact is far beyond the Mexican influenza or about the cucumber crisis last year. And 10,000 of people got infected and even chronically ill. So it's a very serious disease, and because of this Q fever, a lot of goat farmers, goat milk farmers, they have to close down their farm because they were not allowed to breed their animals, to reproduce their animals anymore. So milking goats, and you cannot getting small lambs, you will run out of business, and you are not able to transport your animals from your farm, and you are not able to remove the manure or the slurry from the farm, because the manure is also very high infected by these bacteria. Why? In fact, it's not only an agricultural issue, but it's also a human issue, because people got infected, and the information about which farm is infected is not only important for the farmers themselves, who to contact and to do business with, but it's also important for the community. Where I'm going for my holidays, do I spend my time on a camping site near an infected farm and get infected just because in the surrounding of a goat farm and having a very serious disease? So this means that the information about agricultural facilities is very important for also human health issues, and how to get all these data sets together. You can say this map should be under the thematic issue about area management, because it shows where measures has to be taken that no farms, no animals can be moved, or in the end on which farms all goats has to be killed. More than 150,000 goats were euthanized, to say in that way. They were killed because they were sick or potentially sick on the farm. The next example is last year we had quite a big fire on a small chemical plant which exploded, set fire, chemical caster disaster in Moerdijk. A few pictures. It was a chemical plant on the industrial chemical area, but it has a huge impact on the area and also in the politics in the Netherlands. So a big smoke and a lot of pollution, and unknown at the beginning what was the pollution and what measurements has to be taken. The fire exists for more than a day before it was collapsed. So a lot of pollution and people didn't know what to do. So on the left page in the middle you see the affected area where the smoke has affected, well, a big part of the Netherlands, but it's concentrated in a small area near Dordrecht, Rotterdam. So it's affected in an area about 50 kilometers by 70 kilometers. And the yellow pin marks show where the monitoring spots were being. During that session, during that disaster, there are a lot of questions, and this is a website screenshot from Frugiventa. That's the Growers and Traders Association in Fruits and Vegetables in the Netherlands. Well, it's in Dutch, but there are some remarks on. It was advised, stop harvesting your vegetables, even it was in the winter in January, but there are a lot of green cabbage was on the field, should be harvested or not. Keep your livestock indoor or not. Is there a danger about pollution with PCBs and dioxins? Should the greenhouse keepers close their ventilation windows or not? And after all, the most curious one is listen to the radio. That was pronounced to get news nobody knows what about. So listen to the radio to get your information. And there was no information, only questions. So for food traceability, it is very important to know whether these green cabbages, are they harvested during this polluted time? Are they polluted or not? So that's questions about what's about traceability and so on. So therefore you need a lot of information, and agricultural facilities should provide that information. How to inform the farmer? You have to take this measurement. Instead, the farmer has to listen to the radio. All farmers has to bring their animals inside. But are I'm in the zone or I'm out of the zone? Nobody knows. It's not working. Yeah. Okay. 5 minutes, yeah, I'll finish. So in the end there was an area drawn which measurements are taken. So in fact this is a map used for area management, and on that there are a lot of recommendations about no harvesting, no livestock. Still questions about what is the impact of the fire. Is there pollution? Is there visible and non-visible pollution? Is it contamination of surface water? And what are the questions about food safety, tracking and tracing of products? And how do you inform products, product locations, product identification to make sure that no food produced in that area will be on the food auction and will be transported to the retailers? So the main question is, how do you get rapid and trustful information about the producers? Another example is information of different things. For shellfish areas in Ireland, for example, the yellow part is a shellfish area, and there are monitoring spots which are monitoring the quality of the water and so on. That's important for tracking and tracing of products, but it's also important for the shellfish producer. Is he still able to produce or not, and can sell it to the market? Anyway, so the objectives of the agricultural and aquacultural data set is it should be usable for planning, for monitoring, and for incident and disaster and everything out of that, about prevention, control, and also about the administrative management. When there is a disaster, you have to get a compensation in money and so on. In fact, it's dealing all with the environment, with human health, and with food safety. And food safety, of course, is also human health. The partners involved are government, the business, and also the civilians. because the civilians in this chemical Moerdijk disaster, they were calling, is the kindergarten playground, is it safe and not polluted? But the farmers have the same question, but that's not in the news. But in the end, it's important for the same people. Is the green cabbage I'm taking in the shop, is it free of contamination? And probably it's not only for these things, but by publishing all the data about agricultural and aquaculture facilities, you cannot imagine what will be done by any other business in case of innovation in applications, in data usage, and inventing new products or marking products as regional products or whatever. Anyway, the cross-theme, the big issue in agriculture, I guess, is the cross-theme issue. It invites many themes, production facilities and so on, and it implies many data sets. And often the data sets are only covering a part of the total field. Well, an agricultural facility, I can say it's usually a farm, but it can also be an aquacultural facility. So it consists of about the production facility, the activity complex, usually called then a farm. In the information model, it's named a holding, consists of different sites with the yellow orange line, and different plots, and one of the plots is marked with the yellow circle. That's an irrigated plot in Spain. And some facilities are in there, for example, in this one, there. It's the spot of the irrigation sprinkler installation, so that's also a connecting point to the hydrographic network or to a governmental service for supplying irrigation water. And the other part are the buildings, which are also in the model. Our core model is very simple. It consists about the activity complex, as was explained earlier, which is specialization in a holding, and one holding can consist of one or more sites. And that's all the information kept on the core model, on the site and on the holding. It's only recorded what is the activity performed on that site. And of the site, we want to know, as for food safety issues, what kind of animals are on that farm. A few code lists are used, but in fact it's a very simple model with two specified feature classes. The extended model is a bit more complex. It's the same structure. You have an activity complex holding and one or more sites. But about the sites we are recording or defining more information. The farm animal species details, and farm animal is in italic characters, because a farm animal, of course, is not a spatial object, but it's, you can say, more or less an attribute about that site. The other issues are abstract installations, about technical installations, about water management, or about the aquaculture issues. The last two are the agri-building, connected to buildings. Where are what is the food storage, what is the crop storage, where the animals are left, what are the barns and so on, machinery, and what are the plots, what are actually the fields. And as explained in the use cases, it's quite important to know who is using which field, which animals are where, kept in which farm. And that's the end. So, thank you very much.